In 1991, James Cameron gave the world one of the most iconic action films of all time, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. It's a rare sequel that not only lives up to the original but arguably surpasses it. From groundbreaking special effects to intense action sequences, and an unforgettable story of fate, free will, and survival, T2 became a defining moment in science fiction cinema. But what exactly made this film so impactful, and why is it still beloved over 30 years later? In this video, we'll dive into the legacy of Terminator 2, from its key plot points to the technology that changed filmmaking forever. Let's start with the story. In the first Terminator, a killer robot from the future was sent back to 1984 to assassinate Sarah Connor, the future mother of humanity's savior, John Connor. Fast forward to Terminator 2, and this time the stakes are even higher. The Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger has returned, but in a surprising twist, he's here to protect John Connor, not kill him. However, a more advanced and deadly machine, the T-1000, is also sent from the future. This liquid metal assassin can shapeshift and regenerate, making it nearly unstoppable. The film follows Sarah, John, and the T-800 as they try to stop Judgment Day, future nuclear apocalypse caused by an artificial intelligence called Skynet. It's a race against time as they confront both the relentless T-1000 and their own beliefs about fate. One of the reasons T2 resonated with audiences was its cast of memorable characters. Schwarzenegger's portrayal of the Terminator shifted from the cold, calculated killer we knew from the first film to a more nuanced protector. His famous line "Hasta la vista, baby" became an instant classic. Then there's Sarah Connor, played brilliantly by Linda Hamilton. In this film, she's no longer the damsel in distress. She's tough, hardened, and willing to do whatever it takes to protect her son. Hamilton's performance added emotional depth to the story, showing the psychological toll of knowing the future. And of course, Robert Patrick as the T-1000 is one of the most memorable villains in cinema history. His cold, emotionless demeanor made him an unforgettable antagonist. Beyond its gripping story and characters, Terminator 2 is legendary for its groundbreaking visual effects. The T-1000's liquid metal transformations were a huge leap forward in CGI technology. The team at Industrial Light and in Magic Ilm used cutting-edge techniques to create effects that still hold up today. In a time when practical effects and models dominated the industry, James Cameron pushed the envelope. The balance between practical stunts and CGI made T2 a visual spectacle that defined action films for decades to come. While the action scenes are exhilarating, what really sets T2 apart is its exploration of fate and free will. Throughout the film, Sarah Connor grapples with the idea of whether the future can be changed. Is Judgment Day inevitable, or can they truly stop it from happening? This central question echoes throughout the film, giving the explosive action emotional weight. It's not just about stopping the T-1000, it's about changing the course of humanity's future. A cyborg, identical to the one who failed to kill Sarah Connor, must now protect her 10-year-old son John from an even more advanced and powerful cyborg. Over 10 years have passed since the first machine called the Terminator tried to kill Sarah Connor and her unborn son, John. The man who will become the future leader of the human resistance against the machines is now a healthy young boy. However, another Terminator, called the T-1000, is sent back through time by the supercomputer Skynet. This new Terminator is more advanced and more powerful than its predecessor, and its mission is to kill John Connor when he's still a child. However, Sarah and John do not have to face the threat of the T-1000 alone. Another Terminator identical to the same model that tried and failed to kill Sarah Connor in 1984 is also sent back through time to protect them. Now, the battle for tomorrow has begun. LA in 2029 ad. The world has become a wasteland of wrecked cars, destroyed buildings. The voice of Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton, starts narrating. 3 billion human lives ended on August 29, 1997. the survivors of the nuclear fire called the War Judgment Day. They only live to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines. A battle is starting between human guerrilla troops and a technically far superior robotic army. A man is saluted by his soldiers as he crosses a destroyed hallway and starts to inspect the battlefield from a safe distance. Sarah's voiceover, Skynet, the computer that controlled the machines, sent two Terminators back through time. Their mission, to destroy the leader of the human resistance, John Connor, my son. The first Terminator was programmed to strike at me in the year 1984, before John was born. It failed. The second was set to strike at John himself when he was just a child. As before, the Resistance was able to send a lone warrior as a protector for John. Flashback to present day. A man Arnold Schwarzenegger is transported to the past. It is a Terminator. In a different part of town, a police officer calls in a strange electrical disturbance to headquarters. A strange round hole burned into a fence. He is approached from behind by another naked man, Robert Patrick, slenderer than the Terminator, who instantly kills him. The man picks up the cop's gun, enters the police car fully clothed, and accesses the car's computer to find the address of John Connor. John Connor Edward Furlong lives with his foster parents Todd Xander Berkeley and Hanel Voigt Jeanette Goldstein, and leaves on his bike with his friend Tim Danny Cooksey. Sarah is in Pescadero State Hospital as nobody believes her narration of the first Terminator movie. John tells Tim that Sarah is a complete psycho because she got arrested for trying to blow up a computer factory. Sarah has visions of Reese telling him that John is in danger and she needs to save him. Sarah tries to reason with the staff doctor to let her see her son, but he refuses. Meanwhile, in a computer lab elsewhere, a computer developer called Miles Dyson Joe Morton is asked permission to conduct a test with a fragment of a computer chip and a metal robot arm that was clearly once attached to a Terminator. The Terminator identifies John passing through a galleria and goes after him. The fake cop is there as well. The cop finds John and is about to attack when the Terminator opens fire on the fake cop with his shotgun. The gaping holes in the fake cop get filled quickly and he is back on his feet. John escapes on his back into a canal and the fake cop follows in a truck. The Terminator rides a bike and jumps in front of the truck and picks up John before he is crushed by the truck. Then the Terminator blows the truck tire, causing it to blow up in flames after crashing into a column. But the fake cop walks from it unharmed. John asks the Terminator to pull over the bike. His rescuer confirms it is a Terminator. John realizes that the Terminator has not come to kill him. The Terminator explains that John himself reprogrammed it 35 years in the future to be his protector in the present. The Terminator explains that the other guy is a T-1000, an advanced liquid metal. They leave the city to escape the T-1000. John insists on calling the house, but the Terminator fakes his voice and asks a trick question. Upon receiving the wrong answer, he knows it's the T-1000 that has killed John's foster parents. The Terminator explains to John that the T-1000 can imitate everything of equal size that it has sampled previously by physical contact. It can't become a bomb or other complex machines with chemicals and moving parts, but it can form knives and stabbing weapons. At the hospital, a policeman shows Sarah photos of the Terminator and tells her that John is missing. John orders the Terminator to help him rescue Sarah. The Terminator is mission-bound to obey John's orders and has to comply, even though he thinks rescuing Sarah will be dangerous as T-1000 is likely to be there. The Terminator and T-1000 reach the hospital at the same time. At first, Sarah thinks the Terminator is there to kill her and John, just like in the first movie. But then she finds T-1000 coming behind her and the Terminator attacking him. John assures Sarah that the Terminator is there to help them and this time, it's the T-1000 that's the threat. The Terminator gets into a fight with the T-1000 but is no match for its advanced weaponry. Sarah, the Terminator and John escape in a car. Sarah admonishes John for coming to the hospital to rescue her as he is way too important for that. Sarah asks the Terminator about who is responsible for building Skynet. The Terminator tells her that it is Miles Bennett Dyson, a high-ranking employee at Cyberdyne Systems, who will invent a new microprocessor that will revolutionize the entire military computer system. Cyberdyne computers will completely replace human functions and decisions in strategic defense systems. As the Skynet program goes online on August 4, 1997, it learns at such a fast rate that it becomes self-aware on August 29. As the humans try to shut it down, Skynet starts a nuclear strike that plunges the Earth's nations into a nuclear war. After an overnight stop, John and the Terminator find Sarah gone and know that she is after Dyson. Sarah enters the Dyson household and shoots him in the arm. But she can't bring herself to kill him in front of his wife and kids. The Terminator arrives with John and tells Dyson that he is a machine sent from the future. The Terminator convinces Dyson to destroy the chip prototype and the mechanical arm from the previous Terminator film in his lab. That is the only way to stop the development of Skynet. The Terminator reaches Cyberdyne Systems HQ with Dyson, Sarah, and John and blows up away inside. This triggers an alarm that T-1000 reads on his police scanner. The Terminator keeps the police at bay as Dyson and Sarah work their way inside the vault to reach the chip and the metal arm. The SWAT team surrounds the building and starts shooting, which fatally wounds Dyson. Dyson offers to hold the SWAT team by holding onto a detonator that will destroy the lab. He gives Sarah, John, and the Terminator a few precious moments to escape before he dies and the detonator sets off the explosives. The T-1000 arrives and sees the trio escape. He takes hold of a police chopper and pursues them. The T-1000 crashes the helicopter at the back of the escape van and the helicopter is destroyed, but the van escapes without much damage. The T-1000 then takes hold of a truck and resumes his pursuit. The trio move into a steel factory and the truck crashes, releasing its cargo of liquid nitrogen. This freezes the T-1000 and Terminator destroys it with his shotgun. But as the effect dissipates, the broken crystals melt and combine together and the T-1000 reappears in his fake cop format. The trio move further inside the steel mill to avoid the T-1000. The Terminator and T-1000 engage in a deadly fight in which the T-1000 eliminates the Terminator by driving a steel rod through its spine. The red light of the Terminator goes out. As the T-1000 goes after Sarah and John, the Terminator revives itself by finding an alternate power route. He gets up and follows the T-1000. As the T-1000 attacks John and Sarah, the Terminator arrives from behind and shoots T-1000 several times with his shotgun making him fall over into a hot tub containing molten iron. The T-1000 dissolves and dissipates. John throws the metal arm and the chip in the iron molting pot as well. The Terminator reminds them that there is still one more chip that must be destroyed. It points at its skull. It takes the pulley and step into the iron molten mix over the screams of John, who wants the Terminator to be there for him. The Terminator is dissolved and dissipated and the red light of his eyes goes out. More than 3 decades later, the influence of Terminator 2 can still be seen in modern blockbusters. Its blend of action, emotion, and cutting-edge technology set the standard for future sci-fi films. Even though the franchise continued with sequels, many fans agree that T2 was the perfect ending to the story of Sarah Connor and the Terminator. Its themes of hope, sacrifice, and the fight for a better future continue to resonate with audiences today. What are your thoughts on Terminator 2: Judgment Day? Does it still hold up for you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite films.